Hey, too loud. So, for y'all catching the replay, this is that moment where I wait for everyone to jump on the live. You will see below in the description. If I do not click this part, I do definitely list in the description when we really get started, and so you can bypass all the chit chat. Hey y'all. Good. I was about to say morning. Good evening. Go ahead and say hey in the chat. Who's on? We're just waiting for everybody to get on right now. That little notification that tells them we're on the live. So who is joining me tonight? Let's see. All righty. I think I'll wait another minute or two before I get started. Eating my grapes. Sometimes I wonder if I should change the live to 8 o'clock because I feel like around 8 o'clock is when everybody jumps on. By 8 o'clock, we have a number of people on here. Plus, when I think about it, my uh, people here in on the West Coast, I guess it's about 5:30 for them, so they may just be getting off work. I did definitely notice that. Hey, Gloria, you joining from Mexico. What part of Mexico are you in? Hey, Monica, where are you right now? Waiting on everybody to jump on, but tell me where you are in the world. Where are you right now, Monica? And Gloria, what part of Mexico are you in? I'm jealous. Y'all know I'm still in Atlanta right now. But I'm planning my exodus again in September. I'm going to do some trips until then, but I am planning my exodus in September. Okay, you're in California, Monica and Gloria in Tijuana. Yeah, I think 8 o'clock will be better because I always forget about my West Coast people. Interestingly enough, I think the majority of my people are West Coast people. So what I notice is that it seems like 8 o'clock is when everybody joins in. But then I kind of wonder, is that too late for East Coast people? But I guess by then you in your pajamas are laying around. So I think in the future we may do 8 o'clock. Monica says she will be in. I'm a butcher this name because I butcher all names that I don't are not American. Ma, Mazat, Mazat. I don't know how to say that, Monica. Uh, is that's Mexico, right? What part of Mexico is that? Hey, if you're joining me, let us know where you are right now. Let's see. And Gloria's in Tijuana. How is Tijuana? Do you live out there? Yes, in Mazatlan is in Mexico. Okay. Hello, in YouTube world. I'm eating grapes and waiting on y'all to jump on. Whitney is from Houston. Yeah, see, everybody is on that West Coast timeline. So I think next time I'm gonna change to 8 o'clock just for everybody. So as people jump on, because we've been on for I've been on for almost five minutes. Um, let's see. We're gonna go ahead and get started. So today or tonight, we're talking about solo trips and why you should take one, why I took one, and I think we all need one, right? So that's what we'll be talking about today. If you don't know me, I am Charisma. Charisma Cares travels the world. I travel the world with my son. Um, and as most of you all know, he has a disability. So we just travel along as we please. And that is all made possible by investing in real estate and teaching other women just like you to invest in real estate as well. So that's my blurb. Like, subscribe, and share this video. All right, so I'm going back to the chat. Am I going to Morocco? So for those of you don't know, the Exodus Summit is going to Morocco next. I am not. And the reason why I'm not going to Morocco is it's a couple of reasons. I'm not going to Morocco because I'm still healing from my back. Also because my thing was once I went to Africa, I will be in Africa for at least 6 months. And going this month will not allow me to be in Africa for at least 6 months. So I will be going later this year. Um, and I'm actually, by the time we meet back, I will probably have my plane tickets to the part of Africa I'm going. I am going to East Africa, but I'll probably have my plane tickets there by the time we get back on this live. But who is going to Morocco? Mm-mm. So let's see. Gloria, I live in Playas, but 20 minutes from Centro Tijuana. Okay, cool. Cool, cool, cool. And how is school going? Yeah, so I'm back here in Atlanta. My son is going to school in Atlanta. It's going pretty good until they talked about the school shootings, I think in Tennessee. And then they talk about a shooting somewhere else. And then the county next to me talked about how someone brought a gun to the special needs Special Olympics. So he likes school, but American school is scary. I don't know if I can definitely do this for years to come. So I do plan on having him finish out the school year because that was the other thing. I said if I started him in school, I was going to finish out the school year. I'm really big in finishing what we start. So that's the other reason why I didn't go to Morocco. Yes. American schools. So that's why I didn't go. I just had to do, it just wasn't the right timing for me. Are any of you all going to Morocco? Yeah, those school shootings can be something. So let me know if any of you all are going to Morocco. So yes, solo travel, when and where. So we're going to be talking about 2 solo trips that I took. We're going to talk about my first official solo trip to St. Thomas and what was it? It was St. Thomas, and then you can go to St. John as well. So I did St. Thomas and St. John. That was still pandemic time, actually. It was like we were coming off the huge pandemic, but it was the point where I was like, excuse me, oh my God, I got to get the hell up out of here before I literally blow. So, with that being said, I did that solo trip. Now, and then I did a solo cruise. So, I want to talk about that as well. Now, I will say, me personally, nurse practitioner, I worked for a company where we would go on a trip at least once a year. And then the another time in the year, we would actually go to on our own to do CU credits. So I've been solo before. So whether it was Vegas, Washington, D.C., Texas, I have gone solo before, but it was a mixture of solo with solo work, solo work with work, and solo go around and see things, Chicago, all different type of stuff like that, right? So I wouldn't say I was 100% new to solo travel. I enjoyed my solo travel, even if it was for work, because I got to go be in my hotel bed, be in that king size alone. I ain't have to get up. Well, I had to get up for classes or meetings. I ain't have to take care of kids. There was just a lot that I didn't have to do for that. But at the end of the day, excuse me, y'all. At the end of the day, it was still some work involved. As far as my first true solo trip, that was the trip to St. John and St. Thomas. And that particular trip, it was COVID. And this was like COVID lockdown. Like they may have been letting us out just a little bit, right? Not like they were letting us out a lot. They were letting us out a little bit, and I was losing it. I hadn't lived abroad, but I was always traveling somewhere. That was just kind of like my passion. You know how people buy stuff for their house, fix up their house, change out doors, the bathroom stuff, get plants, do all of that. You know, like what you're passionate about. I wasn't passionate about my house. Now my house was nice. I would decorate it. It had I painted and all this kind of stuff, got it just like I wanted. But I wasn't spending thousands on my house. My thousands would go to my trips. That was just what I did. My kids have been on numerous trips. I've been on numerous girls' trips, couple trips, whatever. So that's just what I did. But during COVID, I went through a lot of soul searching, which I'm sure a lot of you all did. And during that soul searching, I was like, I need to really find myself. I need to, figure out what it is I want to do in life. I need to regroup. I need to get the hell up out of this house because, oh my God, these walls are closing in on me. That was what I needed to do, right? So my family agreed that I was losing my mind in the house. And I said I was going to take a trip. I went to my Sky Scanner, which if y'all don't use Sky Scanner, I don't know why you don't. Download the app on your phone. In Sky Scanner, you could put your city. So I put in Atlanta to everywhere. And once everywhere comes up, it tells you all these different places that you can go and how much that flight is and everything. So I took that flight over. So I booked it. During COVID, flights were dirt cheap, like dirt cheap. Hotels were dirt cheap, Airbnbs. So I booked that flight and I booked a condo in Margaritaville. If I went on Margaritaville, it was more expensive. But for those of you that don't know, if you go on Airbnb, well, now they have all these fees. But it used to be if you go on Airbnb, Margaritaville condos would be on Airbnb. However, you have to read in the comments to find out that it's a Margaritaville. So I was able to book a Margaritaville condo for like half the price, right? So I booked the condo for half the price, went down there, flight. I had literally a whole aisle to myself, basically. I had all the seats on my side and all the seats on the other side. This is how few people were traveling at this point. It wasn't the very beginning of COVID. It was like that tail end as we were starting to come out the house. So I decided to go ahead, take that trip, flew down there, and I had an absolute ball in St. Thomas, y'all. St. Thomas was it. I went down there, I met new people. Here, let me type this out for you. Margaritaville. So Margaritaville is a hotel chain. Yeah. So they do condos, hotels, all of that. Excuse me. So I went down there and I had a ball. So it started with the taxi. I started chatting with the taxi. He became my taxi driver whenever I needed the taxi. I started chatting with the guy because Margaritaville is a resort, not even a chain, it's a resort actually. I started chatting with the guy that drove the golf carts to find out where to come and go. um I started traveling with I started chatting with the guy on the beach. Like I just started chatting with everybody. I hung out at the beach. I did all this stuff. And not only was the stuff fun, but you could just lay there if you wanted to. You ain't have to get up. You could just do what you absolutely wanted to do. And that's what I loved about the solo trip. I know a lot of people, excuse me, I'm getting over a cold, question, what about safety? Well, I did a couple of things, right? So I want to show y'all. There's a couple of apps that I travel with. So if you're on a cruise, I mean, it's not as big of a deal. But if you're traveling somewhere, there's a couple of apps that you want to have. And those apps are, let's pull them up here. Doo-doo-doo. The first one is TripIt. The TripIt app, I love. Oops, let's type that again. So the TripIt app, I like that because it will take my itinerary out of my email and put it directly into the app. And then what I can do for that itinerary is I can put in an email of several family or friends. So they automatically because you and I were okay, there we go. So the TripIt app, it puts all your details in. So for example, let's see if you all can see that. No, the light doesn't allow you to see it. So for example, I did Panama City Beach. So it put in the Panama City hotel I stayed in. It'll put in the Airbnb. If you book a tour, it'll put the tour in here. When I went on the cruise, the last leg of my trip in Puerto Rico, I ended up staying at a hostel. It automatically put the hostel in there. I ended up doing a layover, an emergency layover in Fort Lauderdale and staying in a Best Western because that was the only thing that was open at 2 a.m. that was halfway decent. It automatically put the Best Western in here. I had to get on a new flight. It automatically put my new flight in here. So as I'm booking these things regularly, when they send an email to my email, that email automatically goes to TripIt. That goes to TripIt. It has all of the details. With my flight, it tells them what kind of plane I'm on, what my the flight number is. It tells them my seat number, what time I'm leaving, how long that flight is, if that flight is delayed. All of that information is automatically converted with TripIt. So that's the first thing that I use is TripIt. And then you can also put tours in there. So if you're going on a solo tour, you can put that can go into TripIt as well. If something doesn't automatically go into TripIt, you can go on into your email and forward it to plans@tripit.com. So this, let's say your mom is your contact. You put your mom's email in there, and every time there's a change or an update, that will go directly to your mom. The other cool thing is at TripIt, they will tell you your travel stats. So for like 2023, I traveled 7,120 miles. 2022, I traveled 20,294 miles. I visited 4 countries. I took 14 trips. I was gone for 226 days in 2022. So that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool feature that I use. Also for I use this all the time. I actually first got it when my daughter first started driving, y'all. Yeah, I was that parent. So when my daughter first started driving, I was looking for apps, and I got this app called Life 360. And I love Life 360, y'all, because it shows people where you are in real time. So we have a family account with me, my mom, my sister, and my daughter. We're all in the family account. And as long as their phone is on them, we know where each other are anywhere in the world at any time. So you can literally go on the 360 app and you can see exactly what road a person is on in your 360 app, what house they're in, all of that, just because you're all on the app. So don't do this with like, oh, I'm dating with this dude. No, these are the people that you know and love. You get this Life 360 app. It's free. You can upgrade it for things like crash, like if you were to get in a car accident, it'll alert for hard braking, all of those different things. It'll alert if they're offline, all those different things like that. So you can get an upgrade. I've never felt the need to get the upgrade. But the good thing about Life 360 is that no matter when, where, what time it is, anything in this world, my family knows where I am at all times. So that is the other app that I use for traveling solo. Um, so I mean, I know there's other things. Back in the day, I used Custodio. I don't know if that's still around. That's one of the first apps I used with my daughter. But even though she's grown, my sister grown, my mom grown, we do it. My dad, my stepmom, and me, we got another one. Cause he always gets worried. And this way he know anytime he could just click that button, Life 360, go into the chat, go into the app and see where I am. I can even see as they're driving or walking in real time. So that is the joy of that particular app that I like about it. Those are the two that I do. If you all have any other ones, drop them in the chat for us, and let them know what they are. Let us know what they are. So those are the apps that I use. But I had a outstanding time and I fell in love with solo trips. After that trip, I did go back to St. Thomas and all of that. Me and my friend, we went back, and those same people that I had met solo, that's who I used when I went back. So I called up the taxi driver. Hey, I'm coming back. You want to pick me up? I called up the other guy. Hey, coming back. You want to, are y'all going out or doing anything tonight? And then sometimes I just chilled. This was my first time really snorkeling. I had brought a snorkel kit with me. And this white couple was sitting on the beach, and I was like, I was gonna go snorkeling. I was like, oh, I guess I'm gonna go snorkeling now. And they said to me, hey, have you ever snorkeled before or something? We got in a conversation. I was like, no, this is my first time. So they actually showed me how to snorkel. So don't feel like you're going to be alone. There are people all around you, and a lot of people are really friendly. They just start talking, especially on vacation. So that was that solo trip. Okay, I've been talking a lot. Do y'all have any questions before we start talking about the solo cruise? And I know some of y'all jumped in there. Hey, y'all. Hey. So why y'all telling me about that? I'm gonna tell y'all about my wine tonight. Why y'all ask me any questions? If y'all weren't drinkers, ignore this part because I thought about that. So yeah, I really should be having some kind of promotion where I get paid for wineries. But this is my wine tonight. I think because I'm under this light, you all can't see it as well. It is Chateau. I don't know if that means sweet or I think that's sweet. Sweet Michelle. Tonight I'm doing a Riesling. This is 2014. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Oh, Winnie said my underwater video was nice. Yes. So that was in St. Kitts. That was the first time I used my phone. So I was trying it out. But I am every day this month, I plan to put out a video or short, and a lot of this will be about that solo trip. So I'm going to be putting out a video on the cabin of that solo trip, what it looked like, the studio, the places we went. So I'm going to put all of that out for y'all. Okay, so next, the solo cruise. So I had decided on doing the solo cruise because y'all, it was getting rough around here. You know, I had that back injury. I got back here in Atlanta in December. It was getting rough around here. It was. It was just a little overwhelming. And I was just getting a little depressed. So I needed to get out of here. And you're welcome, Monica. I needed to get out of here. And my family agreed that I needed to get out of here. So that's what I did. Took a trip. So I was looking for a place to go, and I just couldn't find a place to go. I wanted to do Aruba, but some people say Aruba's boring, so I didn't want to stay in Aruba, for a week. I thought about Cuba, but then I questioned the safety of Cuba as a solo traveler for a week. And if any of you have done it, let me know. But the reason I question Cuba as a solo traveler is, one, you can't use your debit or credit card. You have to have cash only, which means you got to travel around with cash only as a single woman. I don't love that. Two, you know about the America-Cuba relationship. I don't know if something happened. I don't know who coming to save us. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know who coming to save us in any country, but I really don't know who coming to save us in Cuba. And three, you cannot stay in hotels as an American. You have to go under, it's called Helping the Cuban People. So you have to stay in something that helps the Cuban people. So whether that's an Airbnb, whether that's a hostel, but you cannot stay in like a Marriott, a Hyatt, or a Hilton in Cuba. So for that reason, I decided against doing a solo trip to Cuba. I said I'm going to do that trip with someone. And then I've heard that people lose signal sometimes in Cuba. I'm not about that. Like y'all see, I just told y'all about these safety apps. I'm not about being unsafe just to go on a trip. So I really want to go to Cuba, but I'm not going to Cuba by myself. So that's why I didn't do that solo. I looked at Arizona because I really want to go to Sedona. I've heard it's very like spiritual. They have the vortexes, all those things, if that's something that you're into. But child, I don't know what is up in Arizona where I got to pay so much money. So the flight was cheap. I don't mind doing a Frontier with a bag. The Frontier flight was cheap to Arizona to Phoenix. However, renting the car, getting the hotel, doing excursions, I was really looking at a good $2,000 or so to go to Arizona. And I personally, in my mind, could not fathom paying $2,000 to go to a state. Maybe LA, or Vegas, but to go to Arizona, I just couldn't do it. So I don't know when I'm gonna make it to Phoenix, but it wasn't gonna be in March or April. So pass on that idea. So somebody was like, hey, why don't I asked on my Facebook? Somebody was like, hey, why don't you do a cruise? You get a good deal last minute, and they had some cruise lines have solo cruises. And I was like, okay, that sounds like a good idea. So I went into my Women Who Travel Solo Facebook group, because y'all know Facebook is everything when it comes to us traveling. So I went in, I think it was Sisters Traveling Solo or Women that Travel Solo, something like that. I'm in a couple of them. So I asked what cruise line can I go on for solo cruises? And they said Norwegian. So Norwegian is also NCL, Norwegian Cruise Line. And Norwegian is one of the very few, if not only, ships that have dedicated solo cabins on every cruise ship. Those dedicated solo cabins mean that you only pay for one person on the cruise ship. That means you don't have to pay for double occupancy. You only pay single occupancy for your single cabin. So I did like that idea. Norwegian also has a solo lounge for solo travelers where you meet up every night at 6 p.m. So every night, 6 p.m., there is a meeting. If y'all want to go to dinner together, there's a bar in there. So for Norwegian, I got unlimited drinks. Um, so for Norwegian, I got unlimited drinks. Let's see. Oh yeah, where was I going with that? Which means so in the bar you can drink, have juice, have whatever you wanted while you chit chatted with other people. Let's see what else. What else Norwegian had? We did dinner together. So I like that. It was that idea of being solo, but not being solo. So that was the other thing that I did like about Norwegian. Because sometimes you do still, you still want some company, but you just don't want necessarily your company there. I know that may sound bad, but yeah, that's the thing about Norwegian. So that's what I really liked about that particular ship. So I'm gonna post a video within the next week about how that solo cabin looked, how the solo suites looked. But I really did enjoy going on that cruise. So that's the financial part of it. The Norwegian cruise, I did a 7-day from Puerto Rico for a solo cabin, was a little under $1,000. So for me, when I compared that to the Arizona trip for $2,000, by the time I bought my plane fare, I didn't even do a hotel. I did hostels before and after the trip because I was like, I'm just staying overnight. So I was cool with that. And after the trip, I wasn't even staying overnight. I had a late night flight out. So I did do that. And then I had excursions. Well, I'm not even gonna say I had excursions. I booked one excursion in St. Lucia, which was the mud bath. I think one of the popular Black girls travel sites has posted that recently. They're going to do a trip, but I did the mud bath, the waterfall. I did the mud bath, I did the waterfall, and I did the springs, the hot springs. So if you ever go to St. Lucia, I do that. Don't book it ahead of time because I pay way too much money booking ahead of time. But definitely do that. So this trip went from Puerto Rico. I did Aruba, Grenada, Curacao. Y'all see I can pronounce that word now, Curacao. St. Lucia, St. Kitts. I think that's 7. Oh yeah, and I had a day at sea. And then of course I left from Puerto Rico. So that is how that went. As far as the excursions, I only pre-booked the St. Lucia excursion because that was really, really important for me. And honestly, I overpaid because I pre-booked it, but it was my private tour. So I was cool with that. I ended up meeting a friend on the boat, so she ended up going with me. So I did pre-book that. Otherwise, I did not pre-book. What I did was I waited until I got off the ship. Once you got off the ship, there's a line of taxis and tour dealers. I hate to say it like that, but tour dealers, all of that, waiting to take you wherever you need to go. You can go with groups. You may go in a van. You may go on a bus. But whatever excursions they're offering on that ship, for that expensive price, they're offering right there as soon as you get off the cruise ship. For those that never cruise, the cruise ships will tell you don't take those. They're not safe, and we can't guarantee you'll get back to the ship. That is so untrue. They are safe, and you're going with groups of people. They keep a very close watch on the time. Even if they can't get you back to the ship on time, they will not take you. I had one island, I wanted to go snorkeling with turtles, and they told me, well, y'all, I wasn't getting up early to come out. So they told me I ain't come out early enough to go there because it was on the other side of the island. Because I was getting up at my leisure and going as I felt like it. I wasn't on a timeline. So for that reason, I wasn't able to go to that. So they're not taking you anywhere you can't go. It's a whole bunch of people that's going there, especially if you go out early. So that I really just love that. So like most of my excursions, to give you a price point, most of the things I did were like $25, $30. The most expensive one was St. Lucia, which was 150. But like I told y'all, I overpaid for that. I'm okay with that. That's the only one I did. But the other was like $25, $30. Take you on a tour, take you to the beach and to see some other things. It was pretty cool. Let's see. Any questions about that? And while y'all at seeing if you all have any questions, Gloria said that you can stay in hotels in Cuba. I'm not sure how. I guess you have to give back to the Cuban people another way. Or maybe you do like local hotels that people own there. I just know my understanding is you can't do like a Marriott or a Hilton or something like that. I don't know about local hotels. And since I haven't been to Cuba, I'm definitely not the expert on it. But I wasn't gonna find out then. So have y'all been on any solo trips? Do you have any questions about the solo cruise or the solo trip? Are you planning a solo trip? Are you already living your solo trip life as your full-time life? Tell me what's going on. And why are you telling me that? So I'm gonna continue this part about Norwegian because I gotta tell y'all this. Norwegian is not Carnival. I repeat, Norwegian is not Carnival at all in any way of the imagination. You're not going to get a Carnival based travel. That could be a good thing or a bad thing to you. And I'm going to tell you why. Carnival is known as the party ship. I've been on several Carnival cruises. It's always a party, it's always a ball. However, this is just my evaluation. Carnival is fun, but Carnival is very low in quality. That's why Carnival cruises are cheap. They're cheap. They're great for beginner cruises. They're great for partying. They're great for girls' trips, but they're cheap. Their food is lower quality. Their drinks are lower quality. Their customer service is lower quality, in my opinion. So if you're one of those people that value like food, comfort, customer service over partying, or if maybe for this trip you want to do that, then I would avoid a Carnival cruise ship. I've also done Royal Caribbean. I will say Royal Caribbean is a good mix between Carnival and Norwegian. Royal Caribbean is going to give you it's going to be a little higher than Carnival, but not much. But it's going to be a little more comfortable. The food is going to be a little bit better. You're going to have a little bit more customer service. So that's a Royal Caribbean. Norwegian, I'll say, is even a step higher than Royal Caribbean. Norwegian has several offers. So for my cruise that was under $1,000, a little less than $1,000, I got an unlimited bar. I got $50 towards a shore excursion. They will give you a buy one, get one free. They will give you a buy one, get one free airline ticket. I don't know if I don't think I booked in time to get that, but if you're a solo cruiser, then you can get half price off your ticket. Let's see what else they gave me. They gave me something else on my cruise. Oh, so on cruises, for those that may not have cruised before, there are your regular restaurants, your regular buffets that everybody can go to. And then there are your upscale restaurants. These are typically, you're going to dress nicely, you're going to go to the restaurant, you have a reservation, you sit down. Well, they also gave me a complimentary reservation to one of the upscale restaurants. So that's what I got with my package for, roughly, I think it was like $7.99. When it, after the taxes and fees, it was closer to 1,000, but a little less than. So that's what I got. I will say it's definitely not the party ship. It is definitely a lot of music like the Beatles. Turn that funky, what is that? Play that funky music, white boy. It's definitely that music. So this is not your party ship. So that is the music that we are hearing during this cruise. They do have an adult end of the ship. She said Carnival is terrible. For me, I do agree it is terrible. For some people, they love Carnival. I find that people that love Carnival have not been on other ships, or they already started racking up points on Carnival, so it's too late to turn back, or they just want to party. So, what was I going to say? So, for that reason, you kind of have to know. Gloria, here is the answer for you. Cuban hotels are under government control, so they are not sanctioned by the US. That's not quite why I was saying that about the Cuban hotels, but I'm gonna go back to that. So for the cruise ship, you kind of want to know your cruising style. Norwegian is gonna be very laid back. You can go to the jacuzzi, you can go to the pool. They still have kids, but I always felt like that side that I went on, the solo cruise rooms are closer to the adult side. Mine's was right on the adult side. I went up and it was right there. So I was right by the jacuzzi. I was right by the pools for adults. So I like that. It was like a bar snack shop back there. Towards the front, were the main things, your eateries, your pools out there. I never went to the pools. I only went to the jacuzzi on the adult side. You have some clubs, they do some parties. You're like, unlike Carnival, they not going to 2-3 in the morning. They are done at midnight for the most part. Maybe 1 o'clock, but this is not a 2-3 o'clock in the morning cruise. So know that as well. But you can sit, they have a wine bar, they have a martini bar, they have a whiskey bar, they had a Brazilian restaurant, they had a Italian restaurant, they had a Japanese hibachi restaurant. So these are the kind of things that you got on Norwegian. The other thing I liked about Norwegian was they have this thing where to keep their repeat guests, they allow you to buy a credit off your next cruise. So whatever you purchase, you get double that credit on your next cruise. So if you do 250, you get 500. If you do 500, you get 1,000 for your next cruise. So that's more of their retention program. I thought that was really smart. I've never seen that on the cruise line, Carnival or Royal. But I did feel like that was really smart, and it was a good way to book your next cruise. They actually sell those. They say somebody told me on eBay. So I thought that was cool. I did meet some cool people. You're probably not gonna see a lot of us. So if that's not your thing either, keep that in mind. I don't really care. I can talk to anybody. That doesn't bother me. So keep those things in mind. Let me know if you have any questions about that. So I'm gonna go back to Gloria's question because she was asking why Americans can't stay in Cuba hotels. So this is my understanding. is that when you go to Cuba, you have to go under those 5 reasons. The easiest reason to go to Cuba, because we can't just travel to Cuba for a vacation. There are like 5 reasons you can go to Cuba. And my understanding is that the easiest reason to go to Cuba is to give back to the Cuban people. So you can't have like those high value, I don't know if high value is the right word, but those, higher type class, I don't know, hotels. That's not giving back to the Cuban people. You need something that's owned locally that you can show the American government that you're giving back to the Cuban people. So you have to keep those receipts to show that. And the easiest way to do that is through an Airbnb. So you probably could stay in other hotels, but you're going to need to show the tax people or whomever, if they ever request for this information, how you help the Cuban people in Cuba, since that's what you said you were going there under. And like I said, the easiest way is by supporting them through local businesses like your Airbnb. So I don't, can you go to hotels? I'm sure that you can, but you need to be able to prove that when you go. Hey there, Shauna. Let's see. So, what was the name of the ship? I sailed on the Norwegian Epic. That was the ship that I sailed on. And like I said, I'm going to post videos of that ship, of the check-in process, of the my studio, and all of those different things. Yes, Shauna, you missed the update. I finished that up, but you can always catch the replay. And if you have any questions, we're kind of in our QA portion of it. So I actually, those credits that I told you about that you could buy like $250 and you get 500 to spend, or 500 you get 1,000 to spend. I actually bought one of those credits to do a cruise because I really enjoyed it. So what I think I am going to do is they have some African cruises. So my thought process is I will book a cruise in Africa for me and Cam for some of those countries that I want to see that I don't necessarily want to stay at, and hit up some of those countries. They have a cruise that goes to actually, I'm just going to pull it up here. Okay, you go wait for the video. All right, I'm going to pull it up. So what I noticed, first of all, I said after going to those islands, I don't really have to ever go back to another island. At this point, I've done the majority of them, not all of them, but I've done the majority of them and the more popular ones. And I just kind of feel like at this point, you've been to one island, you've been to them all. So, I would probably go back to St. Lucia, but I wouldn't go back to any of the other islands just because, it's just a repeat. But what I liked about Norwegian is that they seem to have a lot of other things outside of just the islands. They go to Africa, they go to Europe, they go to a whole lot of different places. So I did like that about them. So the one that I was looking at where I was like, I would definitely go back and use my credit is like this one. Let me make sure it's sharing. Okay. So like this one, they do South Africa. And this one includes all of these places that I pronounced wrong. However, Mauritius, I believe, Madagascar, Seychelles, the UAE, Qatar, and it leaves from South Africa, I believe. Oh no, it leaves from Mauritius. And then here they have this one. It goes to Kenya, Tanzania, Madagascar, It goes to Mauritius. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Seychelles. It goes to some different places. This one does multiple places in South Africa. So like I really like the fact that they do all these different cruises. So some of these places, like I don't really need to hit up every single place in Africa. Like, there's some major places. I'm gonna go to Kenya. I'm gonna go to Rwanda because I'm working on some real estate there. I'm gonna go to South Africa. But am I gonna hit Mauritius, Madagascar, Mozambique? Um, Probably not if I'm not on a cruise. So I love that idea of doing the cruise there. And they do a couple of them, but they also do this for like Europe. So after I went, my mom decided, because my mom's been wanting to go to Europe, and she tried to do it last year, and it was just such a headache trying to arrange everything to go to Greece. So she decided to book a trip, and it's for her, I think it's going to Greece. It's leaving from Rome. It's going to Nice. It's going to like all of these different places in Italy as well. So it's doing Greece and several places in Italy. And I think it's like a 7, 8 day cruise. So that's one thing that I really liked about that, about this particular one. They even had this one that I was looking at, which I was like, oh, I like this, where you do Turkey, Israel, Egypt, Saudi Arabia. I guess I would never go here. I guess it would have to be on a cruise. The UAE, including Abu Dhabi and Dubai. So, I looked at that one as well. So I really like that they have all of those. And it's like I get to see a couple of countries that I wouldn't ordinarily see on the cruise. So yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go to some of the comments here. You said I agree about Carnival. I went on one in November, the Caribbean cruise. Yeah, I mean it's a party cruise. It's just not a higher class cruise. You said I love solo tripping. Yes, it is. I do. I like being with my friends and my family, but sometimes I just need a good solo trip, y'all. I really do. It's definitely necessary. Shauna said that's the only way I'll visit Africa. I don't think I'm interested otherwise. I mean, it's out there. You just fly there, and a lot of times they give you like that. This one says second guest cruise free airfare, 2-for-1 deposit, risk-free cancellation. So, I mean, that's amazing. That's a lot of good things. Let's see. Shauna, they were asking me about Morocco. I'm not going. Did you sell your ticket to Morocco? If you didn't, let them know in the chat, if just in case anybody wants to buy it. Let's see. Gloria said the same thing. Carnival is terrible. Yes. So, let's see. And she said, Gloria said, I want to do a solo cruise for my birthday in August. Winnie said the Morocco is too close to granddaughter's birth and graduation. Planning Lisbon in June. Okay, because they're doing a meetup, right? Monica said, I'm enjoying my new home in Mexico. And let's see. She said she finally sold it. Okay, I'm happy because I would hate for you to be stuck with that and not sell it. And I never thought about these different countries via cruise. And I hadn't either, but they have so many. I was just like, okay, that's cool. I could do that. So, it kind of made me, it's like, okay, places I don't want to stay in, you can do like a simple cruise. You get off, do the excursions, get back on. These are like places you really just want to check off your list. Now, if you really want to see the place, you don't do a cruise for that. But like if you really want to explore it, but it's a good way to touch on a number of places and decide if you want to explore it further. Okay. So let's see. So, like I said, I have a lot of videos coming out for y'all to see about these different islands. You know, go how the cruise goes, all of that. So I'm gonna release those videos. And I'll answer your questions there too if you have any. Let's see. Shauna said, decided Morocco was too much to do when my birthday's in May. That's understandable. And happy 50th. Would have never guessed that you were 50, but you know how that goes. So, all right, y'all. Anything else? Any other questions before we jump off? Oh, the wine. Yes, I have Chateau Sweet Michelle Riesling. So on the cruise ship, y'all, since I had unlimited drinks, I went to the wine bar and I just started tasting wine all week long because I wanted to know what other wines I liked. I decided I do not like Pinot Grigio, which I kind of knew that. I don't like Chardonnay. I knew that. But I found I like Riesling and Sauvignon Blanc, which I'm probably pronouncing wrong. So those are my new go-to wines. They're not as expensive. Yeah. Lemonade diet. Not doing a lemonade diet, but I did start intermittent fasting because the other thing about that cruise is you are going to gain weight. If you do 7 days, you're going to gain 10 pounds. If you do 3 to 5 days, you're going to gain 5 pounds. That seems to be the going rates, and those don't change from cruise lines to cruise lines. And I really didn't even think I did that bad. The first 3 days I did eat badly, but I felt like the other days I ate better because like my body was like, no, we can't do this. Then I had some weight that I gained since I hurt my back. So yes, I am doing intermittent fasting and I'm trying to do these 7,500 miles, 7,500 steps a day. Today I'm up to 4845. So we'll see what happens with that, y'all. I'm trying. And my intermittent fasting ends at 8:30. So I'm gonna have to hurry up and finish this wine. She said, I don't want to be 50 and fat. Girl, I don't want to be anything in fat. So we got to get this weight off. What else is going on with you all? Anything else? I gave the review on the cruise. Anything else y'all want to talk about before we jump off? Me and Shauna are working on our weight loss. Mm-hmm. I would love to just go in and get surgery for weight loss, but I think I've told y'all before I'm scared. So I'm going to have to just do it this way. I'm going to have to grind it out, exercise, do my walking, eat right, and probably not drink as much wine. But I've been doing better with that too. So, well, I guess that is it tonight. I'm going to try to switch to 8 since more people get on a little closer to 8 for our next live. It'll probably be next month. But oh, yes, if y'all are in the Atlanta area, I am hosting for the Exodus Atlanta a sundress sun hat meetup. We're doing a sundress sun hat brunch in May. What is that? May 21st, Shauna? So if you're in the area, most of y'all sound like y'all in Mexico now. But for us that are still stuck here in the States, on May 20th, we're doing that at Garden Park. So if you aren't in the Facebook group, join it. If you're in the area, here, let me find the Facebook group link for you. Let's see. It's the Atlanta Exodus group. So Here is the link. It's I think I did, oh yeah, May 21st. So this is the link for the group if you're in Atlanta and you want to join that Facebook group um and come to the meetup. And I think somebody else is planning a boat trip maybe on the 20th, but somebody else is planning a boat trip. And then I think they want to do a get together at a park. So we're doing big things in ATL. I gotta have something to do, y'all, before I leave back out here in September. Um, Gloria says she walked on the treadmill every day and helped with the weight. So because I had this back injury, all I can really do is walk. So I've been doing my treadmill or walking around the block. So yes. All right, y'all. I think we got all our information in there. If you didn't catch it, make sure you catch the replay. Make sure y'all like and subscribe and share this video, but really make sure y'all like it so YouTube knows. You going back to Puerto Vallarta May 4th. Okay. What is going on in Puerto Vallarta that you going back? Where am I going in September? I am purchasing land in Rwanda, Africa. So I actually have to go because I need to see my land. So if anyone is interested in that, let me know. But this is going to definitely be an income producing property because they are building a new airport out there. And I will probably next month have someone on here to talk about purchasing land in Rwanda. She's already purchased her land. She's already flown to Africa to see her land. So she's going to talk to you about her experience. So definitely look out for that. So make sure y'all ring the bell for notifications. But that will start our 6-month or more African journey. Walking routinely, I feel like it's hard here in America. It's so easy when you're overseas because all you do is walk. You said you love the ocean, food, and weather. I feel like I need to make it over there, but I'm trying to wait to get this second part of my this first part of my Mexican residency done. They have basically frozen the appointments here in Atlanta. I actually went on the Mexican Counseling Facebook group and they were doing a live, and basically even the Mexicans can't get appointments at the Mexican consulate. I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, the Mexicans were hot. They were livid that there were no appointments there. They needed to get birth certificates and all of these different things, and they couldn't get appointments. So if they can't get appointments for vital things they need to get, of course, we can't get an appointment. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do because I had to take all this documentation up there for my son. Now I got all the documentation. All I need to do is pay and take the picture so I can go to Mexico, and I can't get an appointment for that. So I don't know. And I was thinking about going to Puerto Vallarta to finish that up, but I got to be able to get an appointment first. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I know some people say go to another consulate, but that's not as easy in Atlanta because I think that's the only consulate we have. And it's like, do I go to Florida? Do I go to Tennessee? And start the process over because I already started it. And I actually initially did not have problems getting an appointment. I don't know what's going on right now because in December I got an appointment, or November, whenever it was. December. I got like the last appointment of the year with no issues. So I don't know what's going on in the consulate. I feel like it must be a bigger problem because I thought it was just us with the visa appointments, but it's actually even the Mexican people that's trying to get their vital records. They can't get an appointment either. So I don't know. Yeah. What is it? That is life. No, something about life. As is life. Such is life. Thank you. I heard that on what was that movie I just saw? What was it? I heard that on John Wick 4, so now I like that. As is life. Uh, you said you had problems during the second half of Mexico. Really? What happened? I'm done. 8:30. No, I can't have anything else but water. Yeah, I didn't even get to the second half yet. I don't know. Maybe Mexico isn't my place. We'll see what happens. So, and I know I saw someone else in the Exodus group that was having issues getting an appointment there too. You said they kept having printer issues. Yeah, they say you gotta just be, what is it? They say you just gotta go with the flow and all of that. I'm like, we can keep going with the flow, but I'm gonna be going to Africa. So it's September, so we can go with the flow, and we'll just have to go with the flow till I get back next year. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. So whatever. All righty, y'all. So thank you for coming. And I look forward to seeing y'all. I have some interviews coming up this month. Two more because we have Easter, so won't be around on Easter. But I have some interviews coming up this month, and things are looking amazing. So keep planning. Plan that solo trip. If you are afraid, I listed some safety apps in the beginning. So watch the replay so you can get those safety apps. And I listed some different things you can do to cut costs when planning those solo trips. So take some time, plan your trip, and do something for yourself, okay? Y'all have a good night and ciao.